ride that football in there, read that end man on the line of scrimmage, make you commit, and then they do just the opposite. They're just taking advantage of your weaknesses, and they do it as well as any team in college football as far as rushing the football.
Screen pass. Rutherford, first down. Gain of 9. Well, Georgia Tech under Brent Key against ranked opponents. This is the 10th time they've played a ranked opponent. They're 5-4. So he gets them to rise up and play well in these games, and 5-1 in ranked games against ACC competition as well. And I guess you count this as an ACC game, as Notre Dame plays a majority ACC schedule. Byron squeezes it in, climbing the ladder to pull it down is Rutherford. First down and a gain of 16 more.
You're going to see Rutherford right here. Just watch. He has the leverage to just run across the field away from the defender. When you're sitting outside leverage against a guy this quick and this fast, all he has to do is just get a step on you. And then you see Zach Pyron. You see the ability that he has to throw the football, something that they were excited about with Georgia Tech. And you can see why.
Leaping is Singleton. They try to get him the ball in a variety of ways. That time they get him a handoff in the backfield. True freshman Leonard Moore came up to make the stop. Remember, Benjamin Morrison is done for the season. That is a day 1 NFL draft choice at corner for Notre Dame on their defense, Lewis. They're without him among several other key injuries they've had on D this year.
Yeah, they've lost a lot of pass rushers on the edge. Benjamin Morrison, an absolute stud. They still got the All-American Xavier Watts, though, at free safety. And Christian Gray and Leonard Moore, 29 and 15 on the corners. They're fantastic prospects.
Byron, swing pass, and a catch and run for Haynes. Looks like he's about a yard short of picking up a first down as Jaden Osbury bumped him out. So it'll be 3rd down and 1 for Georgia Tech.
What you like here is the crisp execution, the quick tempo. They're very efficient in and out of the huddle. But Buster Faulkner has this offense rolling right now. And you can see Zach Pyron in his confidence just soaring with every completion.
Byron, keeper, cut back, short, nowhere to go. Jaden Osbury, linebacker blitz came through to bring him down behind the line of scrimmage. So from 3rd and 1 now to 4th and 2.
Those are the kind of negative plays you need if you're Notre Dame. The second level defenders, the linebackers, the most stress is on them in these situations. Now here on 4th down, it's going to be on them again. You have to take care of Georgia Tech's playmakers, which means keep an eye on number 2, Eric Singleton, number 8, Malik Rutherford.
Play clock at 5. Byron is 5 for 5 throwing the ball, and now a timeout with the play clock winding down will be called by Brent Key from the Georgia Tech sideline. It's early, but it's 4th and 2 and plus territory. A big play coming up.
NHL Frozen Frenzy on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and ESPN2.
The magic never leaves you when you stay with the Disney Resorts Collection. Following you along everywhere you go. Making every moment special. Even more surprising than your last. And bringing you extra time in any of the 4 theme parks every day. Now you can save up to 25% on rooms at select Disney Resort hotels. Why would you stay anywhere else?
At Burger King, we flame grill our burgers. Why? Because that's how it should be done. Hot, juicy, smoky, flame grilled, and made your way. Come experience the flame grilled difference with 2 Whopper Juniors for just $5.
Karen's about to retire. Here's what's going into her retirement.
There's us. She raised us on our own.
10 years as my roller derby wife.
3 schools she's opened.
She's a mother.
I think we turned out all right.
She's a friend.
Our mothers could tell stories.
She's a teacher.
She may be retiring, but she's not done.
I'm never gonna stop.
Retirement is the sum of your life's work. Now what? Get income for life and protect your life's work with Prudential.
At Outback Steakhouse, try the Great Barrier Eats, like the beef and reef platter. Or the twin reef shrimp, starting at just $14.99.
I love the Great Barrier beef.
It's reef, mate.
Why would you say that?
Great Barrier Eats, now at Outback.
Okay, everybody got their Dos Equis playbooks? Good. There's only one play. Go for Dos. That means when we get a chance to go big, we take it. Let's roll some tape. In a corner with the odds stacked against you, if you don't like the look of the defense, call an audible. Going for Dos means trusting your gut when you make the tough calls. Because the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. That's how you...
We were built for Ulrich. To lift him up, because when twisted legs and hurtful stares kept him from reaching his potential, we became his support. Every engine and motor, each hand and mind, focused on fixing his legs and lifting his heart, because we were built for Ulrich.
What's the #1 item in a crisis? Food. Because when the world goes sideways, grocery shelves get picked bare and people worry they'll go hungry. That's why you need 4 Patriots' best-selling 3-month survival food kit. Food designed to last for 25 years, tastes great, and is easy to make. Packed with 688 servings and 24 delicious meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Get your food kit with free shipping and free mini kits at 4patriots.com.
No score between Notre Dame and Georgia Tech. Bob Wischusen and Louis Riddick and Chris Budden here in Atlanta. Quarterback switch today with Zach Pyron taking over for the injured Haynes King for the Yellow Jackets. For Notre Dame, if you look at the 12-team playoff, 63% chance to make it with a win. It drops to 20% for Notre Dame with a loss. Big 4th down here after the timeout. Pyron, swing pass, Singleton, open field, one-on-one, spin cycle, and he's got the first down.
Players over plays. Buster Faulkner, offensive coordinator, just getting the ball in the hands of his favorite guys, and Eric Singleton is one of those guys. You're going to see him fake like he's going to go on some kind of jet motion or return motion, and then he just comes and reverses back out. They get him the ball in space. Picks up the first.
Tipped ball, and it still found its way to the 15-yard line, and Singleton on a slot. And he scooped it up. A gain of 13. Well, Buster Faulkner, the offensive coordinator for Georgia Tech, said stats may not show it, but this kid may end up being the best player I have ever coached. He is just different. And it looks like maybe replay is going to get involved to see if that is indeed a catch by Eric Singleton Jr. It was ruled a catch on the field, and it would be a first down if the play stands.
Hard to see if he gets his hands underneath it there. But they have been very intentional in making sure that Singleton gets his touches along with Jamal Haynes. Here's a better look at it. With his hands underneath, although the ball becomes a little blocked there. Does he maintain control of it? Is it bobbling around in his hands as the ball makes contact with the ground?
Again, it was ruled a catch on the field. Have you seen anything yet that would make it clear and obvious that that's not a catch?
Absolutely not. It's just not a good enough look at it in order for him to change it with any degree of certainty.
And they're staying with the call on the field. So it is a first down in the red zone for Georgia Tech.
See, now here's typically where Georgia Tech will become so dangerous when Haynes King was the quarterback because of his running ability and his ability to pull the football and run the football here inside the 20. But do not discount Zach Pyron's ability to run this football. He is a good athlete.
A dive down to about the 13-yard line for a gain of a couple. Jack Kaiser makes the stop on Haynes. Georgia Tech has also been terrific in the red zone. 26 of 27 so far this season, and 21 of those 26 scores, Lewis, have been touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's what happens when you have the numbers in your favor because of the quarterback's ability to run the football. And Pyron has to display the fact that he will pull it and he will run it as well, because if he can, their efficiency will stay the same as it's been.
They flip it to the left flat, and that was off balance for Haynes. Couldn't stay in bounds and gets to the 9-yard line. So it will be 3rd down and 4 at the 9, under 2 minutes to go in the opening quarter.
See, what I love about their approach in this game so far is that the offensive coaches have shown no fear as far as telling Zach Pyron, hey, look, you're at the command and control center. We're going to ride you as far as your ability to throw this football when it comes time to put it in the air. And he has responded. He looks calm, collected. He has to make a big throw here again.
He's 8 for 8. Make it 9 for 9. Chad Alexander turns the corner. First down inside the 5-yard line. How about you bring your backup quarterback in, and he hits 9 of his first 9. And this drive has a 1st and goal.
And this is a difficult throw now, to throw these halfback wide routes or halfback swing passes and put it on the running back so he can catch it in stride and turn upfield. That is difficult to do. You see people miss those throws all the time. And there again, you see it's not just about Jamal Haynes as far as the running backs are concerned. Chad Alexander, he'll rip you too. He has got instant acceleration as you saw him turn the corner there and pick up the 1st down.
1st and goal. Movement in the line. That's going to back Georgia Tech up 5. Harrison Moore is a backup tackle who wears 44 as a tight end. He was lined up next to the right tackle, Jordan Williams. It looked like that's where the movement was on the right side of that offensive line for Georgia Tech. Let's see.
Delay of game. Disconcerting signals. Defense after distance to the goal. Still 1st down.
So the right side of that line flinched because they were drawn off by signals from the Notre Dame defensive side. That'll put the ball inside the 2-yard line.
And you see there, when defenses try to make those dramatic shifts, and when a Mike linebacker will give the signal to move, he'll usually clap his hands or say it with a lot of voice inflection. And look, it's sometimes, look, you're trying to go ahead and see if you can get a guy offsides. But referees and rules officials have now tried to crack down on that kind of thing. They don't want you trying to gain an unfair advantage that way. They got caught.
12th play of the drive. Jamal Haynes buried at about the 1-yard line. Drake Bowen popped him as he got spun right between the guard and center. It'll be 2nd down and goal at the 1.
Yeah, that's a good job by Drake Bowen of filling fast in that A gap, and it's also a nice job of Riley Mills, the defensive tackle number 99, playing strong at the point of attack. Look, this Notre Dame defense is the truth now. They have some fantastic playmakers, although they have been hit with injuries. They are deep still with some young players that you're going to see on this football field that are fantastic prospects. And they need to rise up here.
Tech doesn't have to snap it before the end of the quarter. Let's see if they do. They will get the play off. Haynes gets another try at the goal line. No signal as of yet. Officials coming in from each side. Did he lose the football? They rule it a touchdown. For a moment, it looked as if the ball popped free. But the signal on the field is he broke the plane before he lost the ball. So he lost it and he got it back.
Look, Jack Kaiser is ripping at the football and he gets it out. And you're going to see before Jamal Haynes hits the ground, you're going to see that ball pop out as Kaiser's still ripping at it. And then when he recovers it and gets control of it, the ball right there breaks the plane of the goal line. But that ball was loose. Notre Dame almost came up with a big play as far as getting that ball out of the hands of running back Jamal Haynes.
So Haynes loses it, and then the ACC running back of the week from last week, a 2-touchdown performance, recovers his own fumble for the first touchdown of this afternoon's game, and Georgia Tech has a 7-0 lead.
Jamal Haynes, this rushing attack is as good as any in college football, and you can see that Brent Key and the Georgia Tech football team is leaning on that running game once again. Dame, you got to win versus man coverage. 2+ pass TDs. They already have a turnover. Defensively, allow less than 150 yards rushing, keep this Tech offense off the field. And then Georgia Tech offensively, no turnovers, a good start. Then defensively, make Notre Dame throw to win. Make Riley Leonard prove that he can make good decisions and put his team in the end zone. So far, so good for Georgia Tech.
And Riley Leonard throwing an interception. That sets up that touchdown drive as we have our sideline report now, presented by Chili's. And Chris Budden, we wondered how well Zach Pyron could play, but no one was going to question his toughness today.
Absolutely. And that was the point Brent Key made in his final speech to the team yesterday. He put up 2 pictures. The first picture he put up was an x-ray of what a normal collarbone looks like. Then he threw up this picture. This is what Zach Pyron's collarbone looked like during the Miami game 2 years ago. He broke it on a play and then continued playing another play until it was apparent on a throw that he wasn't able to go anymore. He came to the sidelines and the coaches said, "Why did you continue to play?" And he said, "Because my team needed 1 more yard. They might not have Haynes King. The point was, we got this guy, and that's what he's willing to do for you guys."
He just led them on a 13-play touchdown drive. Let's see how Riley Leonard responds now as the Irish have it back. Leonard, clean pocket, a little check down to Jaden Thomas. He picks up about 8, but Lewis, as a teammate, if you heard that about your quarterback, what would that say to you?
Look, I mean, that's the most important guy on any football team, whether you like it or not. And we know how important it is as the Tech players down here on the field.
Looks like Warren Burrell, who had the interception earlier.
But Riley Leonard is someone, or I'll tell you this, or rather Zach Pyron, since we're talking about Georgia Tech and his toughness. But he's one of those kind of guys who just makes you feel as though when the starting quarterback is out, like Haynes King, as fantastic as he is, you still have a chance to win, not only because of his toughness, but really because of his competence too. And you're seeing that out here on the football field. But when you combine the two, Bob, I mean, that's the perfect type of quarterback that you want. And they have this in a backup quarterback who could probably start for a lot of programs across the country.
An Elite 11 quarterback that didn't leave when given the chance. When told he was not going to be the starter, believed in the program and stayed put. As we take a look at our impact players delivered by Papa John's. All right, Lewis, your impact players today.
Yeah, here, I mean, you're going to see them. There are some guys in this game who have to assert their dominance. Jeremiah Love, he's one of the best running backs in the country. Xavier Watts, the All-American do-it-all safety for Notre Dame. We've already seen Jamal Haynes and what he can do. And defensive lineman Jordan Vandenberg. Keep an eye on number 99 when Georgia Tech is on the field and he's out there. He has been their defensive MVP so far this season.
They hand it to Price. Close to the first down, but maybe a yard short. Looks like he will be marked down. A yard shy. Again, Trinilius Tatum made the stop without Kyle Eford, who I know you were looking forward to watching, right? One of those race middle linebackers, but they're without their leading tackler today.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Kyle Eford is a throwback player, but you have seen so far, Trinilius Tatum, number 0, he is flying around this football field. The hit that he just put on Notre Dame on the last play is the kind of throwback type of hit that you come to expect from a guy like Kyle Eford. They have stepped it up at the linebacker position this year.
Quarterback run. Diving right at the 35-yard line is Riley Leonard, and it looks like he's got the first down. He got the football across the 35. Ajay Butler, Clayton Powell-Lee sandwiched him at the line of scrimmage. But that's a 3rd down conversion for the Irish.
Yeah, you know that they're going to put the ball in Riley Leonard's hands, and you see here the safeties, they converge. You see Miles Brooks, number 1, and Clayton Powell-Lee arrived there a little bit late, but they know in crunch time that Notre Dame's going to put the ball in the hands of number 13, and they better have answers for it.
Straight up the middle goes Love. Jeremiah Love breaking tackles. He's got a first down. 10-yard run right up the gut. Miles Brooks eventually tripped him up.
That's just a good, tough run by Jeremiah Love. You see he just steps through the tackle of Clayton Powell-Lee onto the 2nd level. And I'll tell you this, if Jeremiah Love gets out in the open, it's curtains. You might as well just run to the sideline and get a drink of water, because he has the kind of breakaway speed most people don't have to deal with.
He's got a rushing touchdown in every game so far this year. 4-man rush here. Leonard finds Love. Breaks another tackle. He's got another first down with a stiff arm to boot. Tajay Butler, the true freshman linebacker, drawing into the starting lineup today. Couldn't bring him down.
Just look at this route that he runs and the move he puts on Tajay Butler on that little halfback choice route where he just breaks it outside and then makes him miss in space. And then it's the yardage after the catch. I mean, that's the kind of thing that NFL scouts love. Jeremiah Love, we got to wait for him for a little bit. He's only a sophomore, but he has got a bright, bright future.
And then he pancaked poor Zachary Toby. The corner outside. Run blitz coming. To the edge goes Love. Nice little deadlift move in the open field as Tajay Butler brings him down. But what a fake he put on Amari Harvey to pick up 4.
Yeah, Amari Harvey, he's going to say, hey, look, man, I did my job. I turned him back in, although his boys are going to get on him, saying, hey, what happened there? All you did was slap his ankles on the way by. But look, Jeremiah Love is the truth. He is a fantastic back.
You said get made fun of for slapping ankles like you have experience with that.
Yeah,
did a running back ever get past you?
I've been in a meeting room or two when that happened.
There's a slant. Raritan, the tight end, has a first down. I find that hard to believe, that young Louis Riddick missing a tackle.
Are you kidding me? I was going in for the big hits every time, so you know I was going to miss a few. But if I caught you on the train tracks, it was all she wrote.
Impressive Notre Dame drive. Trying to get an equalizer, and now racing out on the field is Brent Key to call the second timeout here in the first half.
Media timeout
For Georgia Tech. And he is not happy to be the Taco Bell Live Más Student Section of the Year. Download the Taco Bell app to learn more. Here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, just down the road from Georgia Tech's campus. 1st and 10 Notre Dame. They fake the swing pass one way, a tight end screen the opposite side. Mitchell Evans gets a couple of blocks, and he's in the red zone before he's dragged down. It's another first down for Notre Dame.
Just nice, efficient play calling on the part of offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock for Notre Dame. You see, just fake to the right, come back to Mitchell Evans on the tight end screen. Some nice, easy completion, and then let the athletes do the work. All Riley Leonard has to do is be a point guard. Distribute the football efficiently, let the athletes do the work.
That play blown up behind the line of scrimmage as Devin Ford loses at least 2, maybe 3 yards in the arms of Zeke Biggers.
Just watch Biggers right here. I mean, he is just a mountain of a man. You see him there to split the double team and then just get the TFL. Look, Zeke Biggers, 6'6", 320 pounds. There's a reason why this defense has made the strides it has made from 2023 to 2024 as far as playing the run, and he is a big part of it.
4-man rush, slant again, thrown by Leonard. Another broken tackle. Mitchell Evans gets inside the 15-yard line. He picks up 8. So now it's going to be 3rd down.
What you like now is that Riley Leonard seems to have calmed down. He's kind of settled into this football game and throwing the football with conviction and accuracy. Now here down inside the 20 at the plus 14-yard line. This is a big 3rd down conversion. They need to get 7. They need to match Georgia Tech score for score. Needs to make good decisions.
Blitz off the edge. Leonard throws right behind it. Perfectly read. And Aeneas Williams breaking tackles. Hoping for the pylon. He's out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. 1st and goal, Fighting Irish at the 3. Well, the perfect pass behind the blitz.
You're going to see the blitz off the edge. And watch Riley Leonard. He just kind of fades away from it. Just a little bit, just give a little bit of ground, and then loft a nice touch pass to Aeneas Williams. That's just great recognition on the part of Riley Leonard, staying calm under pressure. Tyler Santucci, the defensive coordinator from Georgia Tech, trying to speed him up as far as his decision-making with the blitz off the edge, but he has an answer for it.
After a 13-play touchdown drive for Georgia Tech, the 12th play of this drive for the Irish. And they're going to need a 13th play, it looks like, as Jeremiah Love fighting for inches inside the 3 down to about the 2-yard line. It will be 2nd down and goal.
I'm telling you, these safeties for Georgia Tech, Clayton Powell-Lee, number 5, and Seymour, number 7, these guys will put their pads on you, and they are flying downhill. They are determined to make sure that, look, they're not going to lose this game on the ground. They're going to make Riley Leonard put this ball in the air. And these two have been awful active early in this game.
Leonard 6 for 6 on this drive. He's going to try and run it himself. Spins inside the 1 at the goal line. He's short. Just short.
Riley Leonard just giving great effort here on this quarterback power. And you see he's just following in there behind offensive guard Rocco Spindler. Devin Ford leading the way. You see him just stretching out, can't get that ball over the goal line before his knee and his shin make contact. But you know down here, they're going to call his number. Whether it be quarterback power, counter, quarterback draw, zone read on the edge, you better have your eyes on number 13.
He's got 8 rushing touchdowns this season. Looking for number 9. At the goal line, falls on some tacklers, stays alive, and he's in for the Fighting Irish touchdown. Riley Leonard rushing touchdown number 9 on the year. And a point after away from a Notre Dame tie.
This time, watch Jeremiah Love, number 4. Look at the block. Bam! Right at the point of attack. Just look at this block by running back Jeremiah Love, and then the second effort by Riley Leonard. That's the kind of grit that this offensive football team plays with, and that their best playmakers know that they're going to need for 60 full minutes in order to win this game. But man, that's big time right there on the goal line.
Mitch Jeter injured, so Zach Yoakum in for the point after. Knocks it right through. Tay Seymour was the player that got blocked. That's the player that Riley Leonard fell onto to stay alive and score the touchdown.
Unbelievable.
Bob Shoes and Lewis Riddick, Chris Button back here in Atlanta. And Lewis, a 13-play touchdown drive for Georgia Tech, answered by a 14-play touchdown drive for Notre Dame.
The quarterback's really stepping up. You've got to continue to do so the entire game.
There goes Eric Singleton. Down the sideline, little stutter step. That's pretty good field position after a good kickoff return out to the 31-yard line for Singleton as we take a look at today's player spotlight. Brought to you by Gillette. Both quarterbacks off to hot starts.
Yeah, they're settling in nicely. Riley Leonard has recovered after throwing the interception on the deep overthrow down the middle of the field. Zach Pyron, a perfect 9 for 9 for 81 yards. This is exactly what you would expect, or rather the best you could hope for if you're the respective staffs here of Notre Dame and Georgia Tech. Now you just need more of it. There's a long way to go, and both of these quarterbacks are going to be called upon to continue to deliver efficient, effective football.
Hand off. And spinning for a gain of 5 is Chad Alexander. Brought down by the true freshman corner, Leonard Moore.
Jack Kaiser told us, one of the captains for Notre Dame told us, it's going to be key for us to play with good eyes and be over-communicative in terms of knowing what each other's assignments are, making sure our run fits are solid, because this football team does so much in the run game that they can get you out of a gap and crease you in a moment's notice.
Number 1 in the ACC, over 204 yards rushing per game. And they pick up 4 more here to Alexander. What's the hardest part of dealing with this Georgia Tech run game?
I think one, again, just making sure that you have your eyes where they need to be with all the different motions and the different kinds of ball handling that the quarterback uses with the zone reads, reverse pivots, the jet sweeps. It's easy for you to start chasing false keys and getting out of your gaps, and then they rip you for a 30, 40-yard run. You have to play a thinking man's game against these guys.
Last week, Jamal Haynes ripped North Carolina for a 68-yard touchdown run with 16 seconds to go in the game to win it. Here's a jet sweep end around. Singleton with speed, looking for the line to gain, tries to stay in bounds, and the Irish rally over to the sideline and bring him down before he can get there. Drake Bowen, Jordan Clark, they were both there. And it will be a punt for Georgia Tech.
Just watch Jordan Clark right here. See, this is what I'm talking about, a thinking man's game. Everything's going away from him. You see him put on the brakes, and now the sprint to the sideline to get that ball turned back in. That's what I'm talking about as far as intelligent football play against a team that gives you so much different ball handling behind the line of scrimmage that it can catch you out of sorts and get you out leveraged.
And now flags down.
Legal substitution, offense, breaking the huddle with 12 players in the huddle. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
That'll back Georgia Tech up 5. Gary Patterson, our referee, just going to give Gary a wave, let him know we're over here next time. Line drive kick. David Shanahan. Hurleman on the run. Saves his team some yardage by making the catch across the 30 out to about the 32-yard line. Good field position for Notre Dame. Was the more you said, Brent Key is right. His team has every bit the ability to pull off the upset against Marcus Freeman's team.
Yeah, look, they've made some tremendous improvements. I mean, the improvements on the defensive side of the ball, we'll speak about them as this game goes along, have been drastic. They have explosive playmakers on the offensive side. I think they will give them a run for their money all the way down to the wire.
After the interception, though, Riley Leonard responding. He is hot, 6 of 6 for 58 yards on the last touchdown drive. He's connected on 7 of 7 now, and there goes Jeremiah Love. Boy, he's got an extra gear, and he brings it across midfield to the 43 of Georgia Tech before he's out.
You see Riley Leonard here. The slant's not there. You're going to see him look to his left. It's not there. I'm just going to dump it off to Jeremiah Love, who's the state 100-meter champ in the state of Missouri, and you see it right there. You see that acceleration. He's up through the gears quickly, up to top speed.
Notre Dame only has one, or rather, Georgia Tech only has one timeout left. The 2-minute timeout, obviously a couple of minutes away as well. Leonard, long throw to the edge, turning upfield Chris Mitchell. And he bobs and weaves his way for a first down.
It's a nice long opposite hash throw all the way out here to the sideline to Chris Mitchell, the transfer from Florida International. Then he's able to make a defender miss, Amari Harvey, and get that yardage after the catch. This is what they've been looking for out of this Notre Dame offense. If they can get this along with the run game, they've got something.
False start.
False start. Number 88, offense, 5-yard penalty. Down.
So Mitchell Evans called for the penalty. Mitchell Evans, by the way, Lewis, is one of 8 different pass catchers already here in the first half for Riley Leonard. So Notre Dame is spreading it around.
And you just noticed as we talked to him, Bob, I mean, he seemed more comfortable. He seemed more comfortable in terms of being the Notre Dame quarterback and everything that comes along with it. And you got the sense he was just going to play free, and he looks like he's doing that so far.
4-man rush. Riley Leonard with a pump fake. Another pump fake, and eventually, Collins comes free. Now, if you were the Irish, would you slow things down here and try and make sure Georgia Tech, with only 1 timeout remaining, doesn't get another chance with the football before halftime?
Yeah, it sounds like a smart clock management strategy. And if you're Marcus Freeman, who you see there on your screen, they don't look like they're in any hurry. I mean, they could probably go even slower here and just slow it down a little bit more. But you don't want to disrupt the rhythm that this offense is in.
They just snapped it with 16 on the play clock. They set up the screen to Collins. He's out of bounds with a first down to the 11-yard line. That's a gain of 12 more.
Give the offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock a lot of credit. He seems to have really found.
Timeout, injured Georgia Tech player.
Amari Harvey, it looks like, is down.
Yeah, one of the good corners here for Georgia Tech that they're counting on him and Warren Burrell.
Burrell was able to get back in, but now that's Harvey down. So the depth of this secondary being tested here in the first half for Georgia Tech. Now we have a quick word from Cheez-It.
Really tasty stuff out there. The crunch, the satisfaction, and now you're being named MB Cheese. What are you going to do next?
I'm going where cheese dreams come true. I'm going to Cheez-It World, baby. Cheez-It, official sponsor of the college football playoff.
So Harvey able to walk off. That's good to see. 2:35 to go in the first half. Again, we have the 2-minute timeout. Georgia Tech has 1 timeout left. Notre Dame, of course, the entire playbook is at their disposal. They have all of their timeouts. And Georgia Tech will start the third quarter with the ball. Riley Leonard, since that interception, red hot.
Yeah, he has settled into a nice groove, and they've They've really tried to give him a series of plays and pass concepts that he's comfortable with. He's delivering the football with accuracy, just getting the ball into the hands of his playmakers. You see him utilize Jeremiah Love out of the backfield. He's gotten completion to Aeneas Williams. Chris Mitchell's gotten into it. Now Bo Collins. And once all these guys start feeling their touches and getting their touches here on the football, this offense will really get rolling.
Looks like they're going to let the clock wind all the way down. A hard count to see if Georgia Tech would hold their water. They did. And now they let the clock run all the way down to the 2-minute timeout.
Barry, coming up on the Lexus halftime report, a defensive battle going on in Knoxville. We'll show you highlights of that one. Plus, catch it. Hoosier hysteria in football. Plus, are Clemson and the Canes on a collision course to the ACC championship. So many highlights to get to. Joey Galloway joins me coming up on the Lexus halftime report.
All right, Matty, thanks very much. After the 2-minute timeout, Riley Leonard finds a crease. Riley Leonard finds the end zone for the second time. And Notre Dame has the lead. Rushing touchdowns this season for Riley Leonard. He's got a pair here in the first half.
And you're just going to see Riley Leonard read the end man on the line of scrimmage, and when he crashes down, you're going to see the tight end's just going to arc release and go around him as Riley's reading him. He crashes down on the running back Jeremiah Love, and then he just pulls it, and then he's just off to the races. He's just using his instincts and his field vision there. You see it from the high end zone. Now it's just a sprint to the goal line. That's the kind of thing that Riley Leonard excels at. Down here in the red zone, Georgia Tech knew that these were the kind of things that they were going to try and do with him. They always put the ball in his hands because they trust his decision making, and primarily they trust his ability to run with the football. And if you aren't sure of what your assignment is and you're not getting 11 hats to the football, Riley Leonard's going to make you pay, as you just saw.
How important is this game for Notre Dame? We're about to show you. And the ride they have been on percentage-wise to make the brand new 12-team college football playoff. Eric Singleton brings it out from 2 yards deep. And gets to about the 20-yard line. Well, back at the start of the season, when the Irish went to College Station and won and beat Texas A&M, they were up to 71% according to our All-State playoff predictor to make the playoff, but then it plunges with the Northern Illinois home loss, steadily climbing since. It would go up to 63% with a win today, all the way down to 20% with a loss. And again, Lewis, all other teams, for the most part, have two ways to make the college football playoff. Certainly the Power Four teams do. They can get in as an at-large with that resume being built, or they can win their conference championship game. Well, Notre Dame, of course, can't play in the ACC championship game. They're not officially, as a football team, a member of the league. So they only have one way to get in, and they can't be higher than the 5th seed. And they are after Zach Pyron here, and he will slide and get gathered in at about the 24-yard line with 1:38 to go.
Timeout, Notre Dame. That's their first charge timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
So Notre Dame, we'll see if they can get the football back to their offense.
Game clock to 1 minute 40 seconds.
Before halftime, Marcus Freeman being aggressive with his timeouts. But again, when you're not eligible to play in a conference championship game and that door to you is closed, it seems to make not just these games that much more important, but how you look in these games very important.
Style points matter, right? I mean, that's what it's going to be about. It's the way in which you go about winning these games on the road. You have to notch impressive wins, which means your offense has to be efficient. You have to be scoring points. You have to be shutting people down and basically dominating your opponent, because you don't have that conference championship to rely upon. So you need to really pass the good old eye test. And that's going to be a big part of it this year. There's going to be a lot of subjectivity involved in the whole selection process anyway. But when it comes to Notre Dame, it's primarily the eye test. And so they need to win big and need to win impressively.
And what happens if Notre Dame ends up in a debate maybe with one of those SEC bubble teams, and it's just their schedule against an SEC schedule, as Pirate breaks contain, tries to get to the sideline, reaches the ball out. It's got a first down. So that is going to stop the clock, at least for the moment. It's a gain of 7. Again, the Yellow Jackets only have 1 timeout left. So they're holding it here, getting reset. The clock stops, and now it restarts. 1:25 to go.
You see Zach Pyron not able to find some open receivers against one of the best pass defenses in college football. 6th in passing yards allowed, this Notre Dame defense. They do not make it easy for you.
Pyron hit as he throws. That ball comes out sideways. That's incomplete. Flag? No, not a flag thrown, pardon me.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. 2nd down.
That's the first incompletion for Zach Pyron. Let's go down to Chris.
You're going to see here arm coming forward as he takes the hit from Joshua Burnham, coming off his blind side.
We'll get to Chris Button in a moment. She was part of the mock selection committee, by the way, that they do each year with the media. And this was the first year that the mock selection committee picked a 12-team playoff as Pyron goes up the middle and slides. Gave himself up short of the line to gain. The moment you go into your slide, the play is over to protect the quarterback. And he began his slide before he got to the 41-yard lines. That keeps the clock rolling with 50 seconds to go.
And they need to pick up the tempo here. You hear the crowd getting a little bit restless. They need to get moving on this 3rd down.
They're going to run it. And that will stop the clock again just for a moment. 35 seconds to go in the half, unless Brent Key's going to use his timeout. Looks like he will here to get his offense settled.
Timeout, Georgia Tech.
But now Georgia Tech is out of timeouts.
30-second timeout.
All right, so Chris, let's get to you now and the experience you had with the mock selection committee. And Notre Dame would be a very interesting debate if it comes to that this year.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the reasons is because right now in the AP poll, they sit at 12. Well, remember, it's not just the top 12 teams that get in. If that group of 5 team that gets in as the champion ends up being below number 12, they would jump, and then 11 teams get in. You know, but to Lewis's point about, you know, style points or how good you look on the field, margin of victory is not one of the stats that they throw up there. They will put up 2 teams or 3 teams and look at almost every other statistic possible, and they rank them based on where they are in the country. But you can look at stats all day, but when it comes time to voting, you know football, you close your eyes and you rank based on how sometimes you see these teams on the field, because you can go through every stat, but it is hard to rank just on that.
Right, these are all Lewis human beings making a human being decision. Seam shot. And there is a first down hook up to Avery Boyd. And that right there could put Georgia Tech in field goal range with 29 seconds to go before halftime. And with no timeouts, they will spike it.
Uncharacteristic coverage breakdown on the part of Notre Dame. I think it was All-American safety Xavier Watts. He didn't carry the seam. Georgia Tech getting a big chunk play that they needed against this very good passing defense.
Notre Dame brings it all out blitz. Pyron beats it for another first down. A little 12-yard out to Singleton. Tackled inbounds, so they will set the ball ready for play. And the clock will start again. 22 seconds to go in the half. So they will spike it again and preserve some time. 21 ticks on the clock, but they've got a first down just outside the red zone. Now it's 2nd down and 10 after the spike.
Now on that pass to Singleton, you see Zach Pyron. He let that ball go before Singleton had even started coming out of the break, which tells you he's locked in. He's feeling it, and he's going to need to against this Notre Dame defense that, like I said, one of the best in the country, 6th in passing yards allowed per game. They've had some injuries on the corner, but this young secondary is up for the challenge.
He's going to take a shot towards the end zone. Incomplete. He wanted Singleton. But boy, that was terrific coverage by Christian Gray. He ran that pattern for Singleton, and he was closer to being the receiver than the defender there.
And just watch, it's a double move. It's a slant and go. And I talked about this secondary and this pass defense being some of the best in the country. And you see Christian Gray, he ran it perfectly. He did not bite on the double move at all. And had that ball been thrown a little bit shorter, that would have been an interception in the end zone.
And again, this is a Notre Dame secondary without their best player. They lose Benjamin Morrison for the season. He had surgery this week on his hip. Byron to the sideline. Bobbles, incomplete. Singleton, the intended receiver. So now they'll have to send the field goal group out and try and put 3 on the board before halftime and make this a 4-point game. And again, Georgia Tech starts the third quarter with the ball. So a chance to put together back-to-back scores here. That, of course, if Aiden Burr can knock this through. And Notre Dame will call timeout.
Timeout, Notre Dame. That's their second charge timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Kick off your Sunday with NFL Countdown at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Sal Powell will talk with Saquon before his return to MetLife Stadium as an Eagle. And then we'll have 2 Monday night games this week. The Ravens and the Bucs at 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus. Exclusively on ESPN Plus, the Chargers square off against the Cardinals at 9 Eastern. That's Louis Riddick's next stop, heading from here to Phoenix.
Yeah.
Well, is Kyler Murray back or what?
Yeah, man.
Man, has he been fun to watch this year.
Look, he's just dynamic with the ability to just break the contain of the defense and just take it to the house from any distance, just like these quarterbacks here today. You've seen some big-time plays from the quarterbacks. That's what every offensive coordinator is looking for.
Both of these teams can block kicks, and now we've got a muff. And it's going to be 3 points left on the field by Georgia Tech. Leonard Moore was there to bring down David Shanahan, the punter, as he was certainly out of his element. These are the 2 top kick blocking teams in all of college football over the past 2.5 years since Brent Key took over at Georgia Tech.
You're going to see punter David Shanahan. He just can't get a handle on the ball and can't get it down and get it set. And from there, everything just breaks down. And that's just a huge missed opportunity on the part of Georgia Tech. Clean operation on special teams is critical, and I can promise you head coach Brent Key is not happy about that.
So the Yellow Jackets leave 3 on the field as special teams costs them right before halftime. They will start the third quarter with the football, but they trail by a touchdown. Huge game for Notre Dame and their playoff hopes. It's time now for the halftime report. Georgia Tech will open the third quarter with the football here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Down by a touchdown to Notre Dame. Muffed a field goal before halftime. Bob Wischusen here with Louis Riddick. Chris Budden is with us as well. All right, the last couple of games. Over 240 yards rushing 2 weeks ago against Duke. Over 370 yards rushing in their win against North Carolina. 32 yards rushing in the first half for Georgia Tech. Now they've got the ball to start the third quarter. Different game plan or no?
I think they still lean on the run game, Bob. I think they still got to go to what they do best. So they can't abandon it. So that means that, look, Jamal Haynes is still going to be a big part of this game plan. But there's no question that I think you saw there late in the second quarter. They have some opportunities in the passing game. Keep an eye on Eric Singleton in this game. I mean, they're going to try and get him singled up on the freshman Leonard Moore from Notre Dame. Produce some explosives down the field. It's just too hard to drive the football the length of the field against a defense as good as Notre Dame's.
Well, Chris Budden, I understand it was quiet in the Georgia Tech locker room at halftime.
It was quiet except for Brent Key because he was the one speaking. He was very upset heading into the locker room, going in there after the mistake on special teams, and let his defense know that he was upset, that they were playing soft, they were playing scared, that there's an opportunity out there. They have to go and get it. For Marcus Freeman, the point that he made to his offense was there are so few possessions in this. You have to take advantage of all of them. If we only have 4 of them in the second half, you can't throw an interception and go 3 on out on half of them.
That's an excellent point with the way these two teams are managing the game. As Pirate starts in the air and nearly throws a pick to start the second half. Jordan Clark jumped the route, had it in his hands, and that might have been a pick-6 house call if he holds up.
Yeah, there's playing cover 4 quarters, and you're going to see Jordan Clark just read the eyes of the quarterback, and he really just steps right in front of that, what they call a Y stick. That should have been a house call, as they call it. He just dropped it.
Byron gets away with one, 2nd down and 10. Swing pass out to the right flat, Malik Rutherford. It's an excellent point in a way, I think, that Brent Key makes too, Chris, right? Lewis, each team in the first half only had the ball 4 times, right? They had long touchdown drives, and even with the run game being so prevalent, the clock moves, so limited possessions changes your mentality how, from a coaching standpoint?
Well, it really just puts an emphasis on efficiency, because if you're going to have to drive the football the length of the field, like death by a thousand cuts, so to speak, then you have to be so efficient. That's why every coach wants explosive plays, because it just makes it easier, and they got to find a way to produce them.
Incomplete on 3rd down. Diving attempt made by Singleton. The freshman Leonard Moore was there. Well, exactly what Marcus Freeman said his team had to avoid. Georgia Tech falls into it to start off the 3rd quarter. There's a 3 and out.
The very good man-to-man corners for Notre Dame. And Leonard Moore is going to be a superstar. You see him right there against the most explosive Georgia Tech offensive player, Eric Singleton. He's just sitting on that little stop route and breaks it up. That's a great start for Notre Dame here in the 3rd quarter.
David Shanahan, the punter, an Ireland native. He had about 100 friends and family at the opener in Dublin with a line drive here. Returnable for Max Hurleman. He takes advantage. He's going to set Notre Dame up with excellent field position at about their own 40-yard line. And Riley Leonard's going to go back to work after finishing the first half with a flurry.
Yeah, here he started off a little bit shaky. He's trying to hit the big play down the field, get the ball to Bo Collins. Bo doesn't realize that the ball's coming to him. But then he settles in, he gets some easy completions, and then he really takes over with his ability to execute on quarterback design runs, whether it be quarterback power or counter or zone reads. He's just so comfortable doing it. And he was comfortable with us last night. He just looked like a guy who had just unlocked all the pressure, released all the pressure of being the Notre Dame quarterback and said, look, I'm just going to go play, man. And it's looking that way now.
Well, the grad transfer from Duke immediately showed himself to be a leader when he showed up, and he drops it down the sideline to Jaden Greathouse.
It's just a slot fade to Greathouse. You're going to see him right there. He's number 2 in that trips formation. Just fades to the sideline. Riley Leonard puts it on him back shoulder perfectly. Great execution in the passing game.
Riley Leonard, leadership. It was visible, wasn't it, Chris, on day 1 for Notre Dame?
It was. He wears that C on his chest as a captain. It means a lot to him. His girlfriend helped him put together quizzes so that by the time he stepped on campus, he would know the face and name of every single player on the team. He said, I was on crutches for the first month, so what else did I have to do? It meant a lot. Sometimes he'd walk into see a sophomore and call him by name, and that sophomore would be like, you know who I am?
Little flashcards with the face of every player on the team on them as Price goes up the middle and gets a first down. And Lewis, if there was kind of the quote-unquote franchise quarterback comes walking through the door, you're a freshman or a sophomore, and all of a sudden he took the time to learn every guy's name and face on the team, and he knew your name.
Yeah.
When he walked through the door, it would make an impact how?
And sure, and look, it just shows you that he cares and that he's invested, and he's not just a mercenary. He's not just coming in here for his own personal benefit solely. He's coming in there to be a good teammate. And when one of the best players on your football team at the most important position does that, it just makes you feel good about the fact that this guy is coming there for the right reasons.
And off here to Love. And he'll grind out with a push about 3, 4, 5 yards or so as the big boys up front help him get an extra yard or two. Tajay Butler brings him down. Well, Riley Leonard also organized back in May a trip to his hometown for 6 of his wide receivers. Fairhope, Alabama. Phillip Rivers is from his hometown, and he came and trained with them as well. So he was trying to overnight basically become at home and comfortable and a teammate in that Notre Dame locker room. I think mission accomplished. Slant, complete. Bo Collins at the goal line. Just short. First and goal, Notre Dame inside the 1.
Here you see Bo Collins. He's just going to run the slant. He's going to run it against the nickel corners. Saeed Gibbs. And you see him, he just gets inside, just out leverages him. And Riley Leonard has shown, he started showing it last week against Stanford, that those slants down here in the high red zone, inside the high red zone, are something he can throw with great accuracy. There's an example of it.
Jeremiah Love walks into the end zone, another Irish touchdown. He's got a rushing touchdown in every game this season.
You just see here, just watch the blocking at the point of attack as the running back just finds the seam. See here, he just jump cuts it outside, finds the seam inside. Wide receiver Chris Mitchell, who just secures the edge, blocks out on the edge man on the line of scrimmage. And that's this good point of attack play on the offensive line, and then instinctive running by Jeremiah Love.
Yoakum puts it through again. A 6-play, 60-yard touchdown drive for Notre Dame. All 3 touchdowns, Lewis, on the ground.
There it is, Jeremiah Love. This running game, Jadarian Price as well, it's starting to heat up.
And the ESPN app, our pre-race coverage begins at 1:30 Eastern. Are they having themselves a weekend in Austin or what? They've got the Formula 1 race tomorrow. Game day was there. They've got Georgia, Texas tonight. Here's Singleton on the return. And now Georgia Tech desperately needs a response as they begin at their own 27-yard line. Well, again, without being able, Lewis, to play in a conference championship game, Notre Dame's resume is what they're going to have to bank on to be an at-large team to make the playoff. This is what we have so far.
Yeah, look, I mean, they've got 2 wins against ranked opponents there against Texas A&M and Louisville. The loss to Northern Illinois is something that people will discuss down the line here, especially if they wind up winning out. And there's other teams that are, vying for a playoff spot as well. I think the eye test is just going to be important for Notre Dame because of the fact that they're not a part of a conference. It doesn't mean that people will not respect what they put out here on the football field because they are a good football team. I'm just saying, every single possession matters.
So Jamal Haynes went into the line of scrimmage and took a big hit.
Media timeout.
And we will step aside as the Georgia Tech training staff looks at their lead. Helmet on. He's going to have to sit out at least one play, but that's good to see.
Yeah, look, Brent Key said he is one of the toughest guys pound for pound. You're going to see him here. He takes a nice shot from linebacker Drake Bowen, and then he gets slammed to the ground on his side, down on that right shoulder, and then he has the weight of not only Bowen, but Donovan Hinish, Billy Amuasa, all 3 of them put their weight on him. But he's as tough as they come. And they're going to need him if they're going to try and mount a comeback in this game because he can rip you from anywhere. We saw it last week against North Carolina. He's going to need to do it again.
How did they open their offense up?
I think the passing game, they're going to have to get the ball on the outside, Bob, there at Singleton. He's their big play guy. They're going to try and match him up on the freshman, Leonard Moore, see if they can get him one-on-one.
Pocket collapses around Pyron, so he takes off. Takes a shot from Bowen on the sideline. A big sweeping right hand on Pyron as he got to the sideline. Knocked him out of bounds, a gain of only a couple more, so it's another 3rd down. And a long 5, close to 6 for Georgia Tech. And trying to shake it off is Zach Pyron.
And there they sent Eric Singleton on an out and up from the slot. They had him one-on-one on the All-American safety, Xavier Watts. He just couldn't find him. But you just get the feeling that they're going to try and strike here down the field because it's just too hard. This defense is too good to try and march down the field with 3- and 4-yard gains.
Clemson in motion. Here comes another blitz. They get Pyron out on the edge. He fires one right on time to Singleton for a first down.
There you go. Put him in motion and see then if he can out-leverage the defense. When you put him in motion, defensive back trailing across the formation, can't get into position. Then he just finds a little zone hole, settles in on the sideline. Good execution.
Pyron, turnaround route at the 50-yard line through the hands of Jackson Hawes. Again, Drake Bowen in on the play. He was there in coverage. He's been everywhere.
Well, the one thing you don't want to do if you're Buster Faulkner is you don't want to get too discouraged and not run the football at all, because this is one of the best pass defenses in college football. If you let them know you're just going to play one-dimensional, that plays into Notre Dame's hands.
Notre Dame flinched, and they're claiming that so did Georgia Tech. And now a flag is dropped. It'll be a false start.
False start. Number 67, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Again, Georgia Tech, #1 in the ACC in rushing at over 204 yards per game. 2 games ago against Duke, 245 yards on the ground. Last week, 371 yards rushing against North Carolina. Lewis, today they have 36 yards, and now they're behind the chains. Another flag out. They might be 5 more yards behind the chains.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 72, offense, 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Now it's going to be second down at 20. Weston Franklin, the center, is called for a false start.
There you see head coach Brent Key. This is the kind of thing that will just absolutely make him blow his top. Look, this offensive line, that's the strength of the football team. So you don't want that group in particular starting to commit mental errors, because they're going to be the group that's going to lead them out of this. They got to provide protection for Zach Pyron. If they're going to start getting into a drop back game, they've got to be sure of what they're doing up front, provide protection so he can push this ball down the field.
Pyron tries to flip his hips around, lofts it down the sideline. Rutherford runs under it, but out of bounds. More pressure from Notre Dame. That one courtesy of Riley Mills.
You're going to see Riley Mills just on a little bit of a stunt. You're going to see him loop back outside on an ET stunt, and then he's just going to get his hands up. And Riley Mills is a huge man, 6'5", 295. It's hard to get that ball up over top of him and down the field.
4-man rush on 3rd and 20. And not much more available than a check down to Alexander to try and just buy a little more ground for the punt game.
See, now you're living in that territory that Notre Dame wants you to live. Now Golden wants you to live, the defensive coordinator for Notre Dame. It's one of the best pass defenses in college football. I've already been talking about it. And now when you become one-dimensional, now you're playing into their hands. It's going to be important. If Georgia Tech wants to get back in this game, they're going to have to create some field position on special teams in some way.
Barely get the punt off. And it hops into the end zone. They were all over David Shanahan. The crowd was hoping for a flag to come out, and so is Brent Key. He is out on the field screaming at the officials, thinking that his punter just got roughed.
You see it here at the very end. There is contact that is made. Brent Key arguing for the roughing the punter. Referees see it differently. That would have been a huge break for Georgia Tech had they thrown the flag.
That was the freshman linebacker, Kingston Biliamu-Asa, that was all over the punter. And you have to allow the punter to land.
Right.
As he is landing, if you contact him, that's a judgment call, but that easily could have been called. Instead, it goes to Notre Dame. Georgia Tech brings a blitz. It gets picked up, so it's one-on-one. Out on the edge for Bo Collins. And he can't take it away from Amari Harvey. So now Georgia Tech's dialing up some pressure.
You see the release here by Bo Collins, and he's down the field. That back shoulder throw. Riley puts it where it needs to be put. It's a nice contest, though, by Amari Harvey. now getting them in 2nd and long. Now you wonder if Tyler Santucci's got to take some chances here, see if they can get a turnover here and get this ball back for his offense in plus territory.
2nd down and 10, quarterback run for Leonard. 1st down, and then some. That almost looked like design quarterback run. He took off fast.
He sure did. You see the split safety look. They're playing a 2-deep look. Riley Leonard just takes what's there, just takes off. And you see running back Jeremiah Love, just a dominating blocker as a running back at 210 pounds. He will put a lick on you. The quarterback run game is just so dangerous for Notre Dame.
Riley Leonard now has 45 yards rushing. Georgia Tech as a team has 36. Another slam, another completion. This one to Jaden Greathouse. Gang tackled after a gain of about 8.
That is Riley Leonard's route. That is the throw he likes. And there you see the corner just sitting inside trying to take away the slant. They've adjusted their alignments. Jaden Greathouse still able to get inside, get his big body up in the air and shield the defender away from getting the PBU. Notre Dame executing with nice efficiency, run and pass right now.
Jeremiah Love tumbles ahead for a 1st down. Early in the game, you wondered if Riley Leonard's first interception in his last 4 games would rattle him. These are his numbers since the giveaway.
I mean, it's not surprising, especially considering his attitude when he walked in the room last night. This guy, look, he has taken the burden off of him. He's just going to let his athletic ability and his quarterbacking ability shine through now.
Up the middle for 2.5 goes Jeremiah Love. E.J. Lightsey made the stop.
Bob, you're talking about possessions being so critical, and Marcus Freeman talked about possessions being so critical. You see, Notre Dame's just going to start grinding on you now. They're in no hurry. They're going to grind on you with the design quarterback run game. Get these 2 backs, Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, just hitting you downhill. And then they can hit you with the quick slants, let their wide receivers catch and run, and then just play suffocating defense and ride that all the way to a victory, unless Georgia Tech can do something to turn this football over.
Love empties the backfield. He becomes the safety valve, bobbles it, and gets brought down for a loss of 1.5 yards. Good read by Omar Daniels. He came rifling up to bring down Love. So here's a chance for the Georgia Tech defense. 3rd down and long near midfield. Can they get a stop?
You got to play aggressive, just like Omar Daniels, the nickel safety, played on this play where he fired downhill quickly when he recognized that half-back wide pass. Now, again, you're going to have to get some pressure on the quarterback, play some, and take some risks. You cannot allow Notre Dame to catch and run here. You got to get off the field and see if you can turn the ball over.
Will they bring pressure? Looks like they will. Here comes the blitz. Backpedaling is Leonard. Out of the pocket. Speed to the sideline. Leap, sails out, and gets tripped up at midfield. Tumbles ahead for only a net gain of about 4 yards. So that will be a Notre Dame punt. Romello Height was there.
And you see here how dangerous Riley Leonard is. You just don't want to let him break contain and get out on the edge. And Romello Height does a nice job of just retracing his steps, chasing him down in the open field and getting him on the ground. Field position is going to matter in this game. It's going to be tough for Georgia Tech to start in their own territory and drive the ball the length of the field without explosive plays.
Only the 2nd punt for James Rendell, and this one is going to work out for Georgia Tech. He does not get it inside the 20-yard line. Spins it back to the 22. 4.5 minutes to go in the 3rd, a 2-score game. Let's take a look at this week's college football rankings, brought to you by Verbo. Oregon already a winner, as was Clemson earlier. How about that Miami-Louisville score in the middle there, right? UM won a wild back and forth in Louisville, and Alabama and Tennessee. That game at the half with the Crimson Tide leading 7-0. Knocking on the door of the top 10, of course, the Fighting Irish trying to get back there. They're trying to win on the road against Georgia Tech. In stride, nice seam shot and a broken tackle. Zach Pyron finds Janah. Abdul-Jannah all the way down to the red zone. His first catch changes the game. He's got 60 yards.
You're just going to see the quick slant, like the 5-step slant, and he puts it right on him. And Abdul-Jannah makes a great catch and then just turns it upfield, snatches that ball out of the air, and then just tries to turn on the jets. Those are the kind of explosives that Brent Key's going to need his offense to produce to get back in this game. That's a good start.
And Jamal Haynes on the field. Keeper, Pyron dodges a tackler and wrestles his way inside the 15-yard line for a gain of about 3, maybe 4. Xavier Watts came up and made the stop.
If I'm Buster Faulkner, I don't know how much I want my quarterback on design runs like that against this defense. Not with the way Drake Bowen and Kaiser and Xavier Watts and the boys have been hitting. You knock this quarterback out, you have no shot in coming back in this game. And you're going to need to protect Zach Pyron at all costs.
Aaron Philo, a true freshman, would be the 3rd-string quarterback and the next option for Georgia Tech if something happened to Pyron. Jet sweep. Wow. I mean, Jamal Haynes, talk about a form tackle.
Yeah.
Jaden Osbury was waiting for him, stayed home, and got the stop.
Just watch Jaden Osbury right here. You know how difficult this is to make this kind of tackle in space when you're one-on-one? Come to balance. Don't leave your feet. Keep your head up. See what you're going to hit. Drive your feet on contact. That's a teaching tape right there as far as how to make open field tackles against one of the most dangerous runners in the ACC.
So now a 3rd down and 8 from the 15. Pyron, pocket collapses, and that's only the 2nd sack that has been allowed this season by the Georgia Tech offense. And Riley Mills has it.
Just watch it here. You're just going to get this and this. You're just going to get a stun inside. You see there, you get the pick by Riley Mills, Howard Cross coming around, and Riley Mills just keeps pushing upfield, collapsing the pocket, finishing with the sack. Controlling the interior 2 defenders of Cross and Mills was something that Buster Faulkner knew they had to take care of. That time they won.
And a block kick. These 2 teams specialize in exactly that. Just before halftime, Georgia Tech with a fumbled snap left 3 points on the field and didn't get a field goal to win the first half. And now they leave 3 more points out there to start off the second half. And who knows how important those 6 points could loom. Is that Bryce Young, the true freshman, that got a hand on it?
Yep, you see number 30. You see that big Paul jump up in the air on the left. You're going to see it right around here. He just gets the left hand up in the air. They call that overload right. Defensive right. You see they overload the rush on the offense's left side of the ball. And they just get tremendous push, time the jump. That's a big time play for the Notre Dame special teams.
I've talked about it earlier that when Brent Key took over at Georgia Tech back in October of 2022, as Leonard goes back to work over the middle, he has a hookup, and Bo Collins has a first down. Since that date, Georgia Tech has blocked 11 total kicks. That was #1 in the country. Over that same period of time, Lewis, with that block, Notre Dame has now tied them. So we have, over the last couple of years, the 2 most proficient kick blocking teams in college football. We thought it might factor into today's game, it just didn't.
Yeah, special teams. Georgia Tech needs it to work for them. Notre Dame has got everything working on all cylinders, playing good in all 3 phases.
Hand off to Price. Darian Price, an extra gear. First down and more. And now Notre Dame is getting chunk plays in the run game. 23 yards for Price.
Just look at the blocking out on the perimeter. Wide receiver comes down and cracks the end man on the line of scrimmage. You get linemen up on the 2nd level, and then Jadarian Price just exploits the crease and then turns on the jets. Textbook execution.
And now they bring Jeremiah Love back in. And he's next. But he's bottled up this time. Good job. by the interior of the defensive line for Georgia Tech, again led by Zeke Biggers. E.J. Lightsey came through to help on the tackle. That's a loss of 2, and that should take us to the end of the third quarter. See, Notre Dame is looking over, and Riley Leonard's going to get them lined up. They have time to get one more snap off if they hurry. Not sure why they would. 10 seconds to go in the quarter. And they beat the clock. Leonard, play action. Backpedaling. He's going to escape a sack. Gets to the sideline and throws it away. See if that ball got back to the line of scrimmage. That's the end of the third quarter.
At the end of the third quarter.
Let's take a quick timeout with DoorDash.
NBA opening week begins Wednesday and continues Friday on ESPN.
Coach, what do you need defensively on this drive right here?
We need to stop. We need to stop. Bottom line, you know, we had to stop on the last one. We got a big play to start out. We weren't able to convert it then.
When you get the ball back, what do you need out of your offense and Zach to be able to move the football?
Well, we got to continue to move it, and we moved it there. We got to get points on the board. Bottom line, we haven't been able to convert points. We had 2 wasted opportunities down in the red area so far. All right, and we're not running the ball right now. There's nowhere to, no seams in there. So we got to sit back, put it in Zach's hands, let him throw it, and make a comeback.
Gotcha.
All right.
Well, only 34 yards rushing, Lewis. I guess he knows what's in front of him. And trying to get a third down stop here. Slant, and it will be short of the line to gain by 5 yards as Jaden Harrison is brought down at the 39-yard line. So 4th down and 5. What would you do here with a 2-touchdown lead?
Well, looks like if you're Notre Dame, look, they're figuring this. The way they've been able to throw these slants and the way Riley Leonard has been able to run on quarterback design runs and create outside the pocket, they're figuring this. Look, we can go ahead and close this game out right here. Our defense has been suffocating them, so I understand the logic here.
Going forward on 4th and 5. This creates an opportunity for Georgia Tech as well. They'll rush only 4. Out of the pocket is Riley Leonard, scrambling to the sideline, and he'll be brought down. A 4th down stop as Tatum came up to make the tackle. Georgia Tech gets a takeaway on downs.
Look, you're in plus territory. You don't know whether or not you're going to be able to pin them, you know, inside the 10, inside the 20 with a punt, and your defense has been playing lights out. Why not take the shot and see if you can end this game, and now just ride your defense.
This gets a stop on downs, down by 2 scores. And they do something with it offensively. The Georgia Tech offense has been shut down by Notre Dame today. Little swing pass though to Jamal Haynes, but he can't hold on. He was open at the sideline, but it ends up as an incompletion. 2nd down and 10.
That ball looked like it got on him quick. Zach Pyron put a little bit too much heat on it, but Jamal Haynes has got to come down with that. They had the perfect route combination called. That he's still running up the sidelines. He catches that.
Pyron, long throw, jump ball, sideline, intercepted.
Xavier Watts.
Xavier Watts, the Nagurski winner last year, when he led FBS with 7 interceptions. He's got his 3rd this year. And the giveaways are now dead even at 1.
You're going to see Xavier Watts on Abdul Jannah. You're going to see him right here. Just watch him track this. See here at the snap, he just works over top the traffic, turns his eyes back to the quarterback. You see Jannah stops running and doesn't even get in position to really contest this throw. And Xavier Watts just has to rise up, the former wide receiver, and just make the easy pick. You make it that easy for someone that talented, you have no shot. Xavier Watts played the route combination perfectly. That's just poor execution on the part of Georgia Tech.
Running here with Love. Well, you talk about his talent, Lewis. He begins his Notre Dame career on offense as a wide receiver. Then they move him to defense, but at linebacker. Then they move him back to offense, back to wide receiver. Finally, they settle on safety as his position. And we were talking with Al Golden. He said, when I got to Notre Dame. I didn't even know the kid. He basically been bouncing back and forth between positions. All of a sudden, at safety, he becomes the Nagurski winner.
Yeah, I mean, he just broke out last year in 2023. You see all of his accolades. He's already been named an AP All-American through the first half of 2024. It's because he turns the ball over. He turns the ball over with strips, big TFLs, interceptions. He's a guy who's gotten better as a middle of the field player, someone who can play with range. You know he can tackle. He's smart. He's become a better leader, more boisterous. Al Golden challenged him this year to raise his game to an even higher level. He can do it all.
He's a pro. There's no question. 3rd down and 8 for Notre Dame offensively after the takeaway. So a chance for Georgia Tech and their defense to get a stop. They rush 4. Riley Leonard out of the pocket. Leonard shovel pass incomplete. He found the safety valve in Devin Ford. That's a great job by the Georgia Tech defense as well, dealing with sudden change. Having to go back out there and basically force a 3-and-out, and they do.
Yeah, you can see the secondary playing with great eyes. Riley Leonard escapes up and to his left, and you can see the secondary force come down and not allow him to break out and pick up a first down with his legs. Secondary had locked it down in the back end. It's a good snap for them. They just got to create some kind of momentum for him.
Fake punt. A reverse. They're trying to block it up for Lowe. He's got the first down. Notre Dame fakes the punt. They run a reverse, and the trick play works to perfection. Special teams. So often we take it for granted. So often it can change games.
There you have it, the little tap pass, then to the reverse. And Georgia Tech has a chance. They have a chance to stop it right there. They just missed the open field tackle. And that there could be a back-breaking type of play. You'd come up with a stop defensively. And now you give Notre Dame a fresh set of downs.
Straight quarterback power. And Riley Leonard picks up about 3.
If you're Marcus Freeman now, and if you're offensive coordinator for Notre Dame, you are just in Riley Leonard's ear telling him, look, just be secure with the football. No turnovers, no mistakes. Just put this ball in the end zone one more time and go up 3 scores. Got this team on the ropes, and if you're Georgia Tech, you have to be tackling the football. You have to be selling out to try and give your offense another possession.
Darian Price breaking tackles into the red zone before he's finally brought down. Another 19 on the ground for Notre Dame.
See the center, Pat Coogan, he just gets a good block at the point of attack, and Jadarian Price just using his eyes, quick feet to find the crease and then just burst onto the second level. Run with that low center of gravity and power at 5'10", 206 that you've seen, and there you see it. Offensive coordinator Mike Denbrock, he's just leaning on them now, just leaning on this defense. This offensive line rising to the challenge. These running backs asserting their dominance on this football game.
Jadarian Price. Zeke Biggers got him around the ankles and slowed him up. Then his teammates finished him off. No gain on first down. But up 2 touchdowns at midfield. Notre Dame fakes a punt to keep this drive alive. And maybe that's another indication, as we've been talking about, Lewis, of what they realize their certain circumstances and unique circumstances are. We can't get to a conference championship game to win and in yourself into a 12-team playoff. We have to win every game, and we have to win them convincingly.
Marcus Freeman knows what's at stake. He knows what they're trying to play for.
Love turns the corner. Gets a block. Flag down. He's into the end zone, but this one might be coming back. Let's see. This will be a hold against the Irish.
Number 54, offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
That's only the 3rd Notre Dame penalty. But it's going to go against the freshman left tackle, Anthony Knapp.
Yep, you see it right here. We see it time and time again. He gets good position on the reach block initially. He starts to lose the defender on the edge. Instinctively grabs him high on the shoulder pad. See it happen every week. And Anthony Knapp has done a nice job of really coming into his own as a starting left tackle here at Notre Dame. Someone who they're counting on. And they're counting on this offensive line to continue to improve. And you're seeing it here happen today.
Yeah, filling in at left tackle, of course. 3 offensive linemen down for Notre Dame. 2 starters lost for the season. And Ashton Craig, the center. And Charlie Jagisaw earlier this year, the left tackle. That's why Knapp is in there. Anthony Knapp was a tight end in high school. 185 pounds and a 15 shoe size. And one of the coaches went to him and said, you know, you might want to think about tackle. Tight end might not be your bag. Good decision. Leonard. It's in and out of the hands of Mitchell Evans. Now a field goal on this drive makes it a 3-score game. If you're just thinking purely about winning the game, you'd almost say a field goal is as good as a touchdown.
But is Notre Dame thinking about just winning the game, Bob? That's the question, right?
It's a good question.
Let's see how aggressive they're going to be down here. Whether they're really trying to go for the jugular and really put on an impressive showing here with their offensive firepower.
Leonard underneath, incomplete. Well, now they'll have no choice. Aeneas Williams was the intended receiver. Again, no Mitch Jeter today for Notre Dame. He is hurt. Zach Yoakum, the backup kicker, has never attempted a field goal before. He has only ever kicked point afters. So here comes the walk-on backup kicker to try his first ever field goal attempt. This one from 42. They feel comfortable with him from inside of 50 yards based on his leg strength.
He's down on the field pregame. He was striking the ball with pretty good consistency and good power. See if he can do it in game conditions.
Hit that one well. And it's inside the left upright. There you go, Zach Yoakum. 42-yard field goal is good. He's having fun out there. The team to win over Army in 1924, of course, written into history courtesy of Grantland Rice. After the 13-7 win, that 24 team led by the Four Horsemen, coached by Newton Rockne, eventually went undefeated, won the Rose Bowl. They were the consensus national champions. We're in a whole new era now of college football. A brand new 12-team playoff this year, the All-State Playoff Predictor, as Notre Dame's chances of making the field improved to 63% with a win today, and they are up by 3 scores now with 10 minutes to go. Bob Schusen here with Lewis Riddick and Chris Buck. And coming up tonight at 8 Eastern on the ACC Network and the ESPN app, number 21 SMU will square off against Stanford. That game in Palo Alto. And that's later on tonight. ACC primetime football on the ACC Network at 8 Eastern. So now Georgia Tech down 3 scores. Lewis, you have to think completely taken out of their game. They'll run the tunnel screen here to Malik Rutherford. He breaks at least 1 tackle, but cannot escape. Eventually thrown down by Rod Hurt.
You see, now Notre Dame has you right where they want you. They want you throwing the football one-dimensional, turn loose the pass rushers, and all these athletes on the 2nd and 3rd level. Now they're just doing what they do best. It's an uphill battle now for Georgia Tech.
Incomplete. A diving attempt by Rutherford. So now it'll be 3rd down and 10. It looks like Rutherford's hurt.
Timeout, injured Georgia Tech player.
So Malik Rutherford shaken up. You talked about the pass rush as well for Notre Dame. Now Georgia Tech only giving up their 2nd sack of the season today, but Notre Dame is number 1 in FBS in pressure rate as well. That quarterback pressuring by the Notre Dame defense has been a big factor today.
Austin's this is a great city, and it's on its own. Now they got all these events. I mean, yeah, It'd be nice to be down there, wouldn't it?
After the injury timeout, Byron off his back foot just to avoid a sack. And a receiver in the area in Chad Alexander to avoid grounding. But it's going to be 4th and 10.
It's good.
And they probably have to go for it. Down by 3 scores with 9:21 to go. I don't think they can punt.
Will you please watch the freshman here in Kingston, Viliamu-Rama? Watch this pass rush. You wonder why things are looking good for Notre Dame here in the future. He gets him down basically with one hand. They have got freshman athletes everywhere on this football team, particularly on defense.
Timeout Notre Dame. That's their first charge timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
So while Notre Dame talks over 4th down, after they call timeout, let's check in with Matt.
All right, Bob, right back to you in a minute. I want to show you what's going on in Alabama and Tennessee. Crimson Tide had held a 7-0 lead for a while, but Dylan Sampson, 2 huge runs on this drive, caps it off with a 1-yard touchdown run, ties it at 7 apiece midway through the 3rd quarter. You just mentioned Austin, the center of the sports universe. Sark walking in with some swagger tonight. Top-ranked Texas getting set to host 5th-ranked Georgia, 7:30 tonight.
Nick Saban, he's got his top 2, arguably, assistants going head-to-head tonight.
He's churned them out, hasn't he? Steve Sarkisian, one of the best dudes I've come across in college football in terms of, just how genuine he is, how he is now taking his career, and it's just exploding down there in Texas. He told me a year ago that he was going to get this team where it needed to be, and you see now they are hitting on all cylinders, man. That is a loaded, loaded football team.
Byron, pocket collapsing again. He's going to tuck it under and take off and scramble for a 1st down on 4th and 10. He's a gamer.
He is not going to quit. You see here, and he's just getting pressure off his front side. It's just another rookie in Bryce Young coming around the edge, and he just steps up, gets outside the pocket, and takes off. They desperately need a big chunk play that results in 6.
Over the middle, Viliamu-Asa was waiting. He took his shoulder and just planted it right into the midsection of Bailey Stockton on that slant. That's a slant into zone coverage. And the freshman linebacker, Viliamu-Asa, was waiting for it. And boy, did Bailey Stockton pay the price.
We talk about these young freshmen and Viliamu-Asa. You see him here. He's just reading the eyes of the quarterback. Just takes him right to the ball. Perfectly clean hit. Right to the midsection. Tries to finish him off a little bit at the end.
And just flip you upside down for good measure.
And you see it here. It's just textbook. Just read the eyes of the quarterback. Lower your target. Make sure you don't hit him up around the head or neck area. Clean football play. Sandwich him in there with Jack Kaiser. Just clean football.
So Stockton helped off. Great sitting with Jack Kaiser as well last night. He is, talk about a model human being and exactly who you want the face of your program to be if you're Notre Dame. Great leader for these young players. One-on-one shot taken. Incomplete, just underthrown by Byron for Singleton. That was good coverage again by another, by the way, true freshman in Leonard Moore, step for step with Singleton.
Just watch this technique. Look, just quick hot step, offhand jam it, try and secure him in the bounds. You're going to hand fight. You realize you're losing control, so you run to the hip to try and get back in phase. Then at the last minute, turn your head and locate the football. This is a freshman, folks, Leonard Moore, who's taken over from one of the best corners in college football, Benjamin Morrison. And he looks like a vet out there. I saw him and Christian Gray practicing with one another in pregame. These guys are mature well beyond their years.
5-man rush. Byron hit as he throws, and that ball comes out well short as Howard Cross was all over Byron as he released it.
That's a big time quick arm over by Howard Cross the third. Just watch him inside against the center against Weston Franklin. He has no shot. He hits that move too quickly and he is gone. He's got his hips cleared and he's gone in a hurry. And you can see why this Notre Dame defense is ranked where it's ranked. why they're as good as they are. And there you see Franklin on the sideline. Their best offensive lineman here at Georgia Tech.
That's the starting center. So now on 4th and 10, you have your backup center in the game. And it's on Pyron again. He's on the move again. Dodging tacklers again. Eyes downfield. Has to unload it. And does. Incomplete. So Notre Dame gets the stop on downs midway through the 4th quarter with a 24-7 lead. Pyron now 5 of his last 19 with an interception after the 11-for-12 start. Well, it's number 5 against number 1, Georgia, in Austin to meet Texas. Back-to-back national championships in 21 and 22 for the Dogs. And number 1, Texas. Their first playoff appearance was last year, and they are a heavy favorite to make it back there this year, almost regardless of tonight's outcome.
I mean, these two teams are loaded. Like I said, Texas in particular. I took a trip down there to Austin a year ago to speak to their football team. Sark has them right where he wants them, right where he needs them. Georgia will play well tonight.
Riley Leonard, tight end screen to Mitchell Evans. And is that part of the reason we're seeing Notre Dame, as we said, faking a punt here in the 4th quarter or late 3rd quarter, and
no question,
trying to, because can Notre Dame necessarily count on all of the teams that are ranked ahead of them in the SEC to cannibalize each other and beat each other, or can you not count on that? You have to think, boy, our resume at some point really needs to stack up.
I don't think there's any question about it, and I think they need to be aggressive. I think they're going to be aggressive. I think Notre Dame's a good football team regardless, as you can see here tonight. But there's going to be an absolute fight for those playoff spots.
Time bobbled and caught by Evans. About 3 yards shy of a first down. 7.5 minutes to go. And it's this resume that Notre Dame is going to, at some point, hope to build upon. It's hard to believe as well. You can see the strength of schedule, 55th. It almost feels, we showed the 4 horsemen back in 1924. Feels like 1924. The only 2 ranked opponents that Notre Dame has left on their schedule, the 2 service academies, when they play Army and Navy.
The subjectivity of it all is going to be fascinating to watch it play out. That it really is. Because you could definitely see Notre Dame running the table here and finishing the season with 1 loss. How's it all going to shake out in the end? That's what's going to be so exciting, I think, for college football fans, because this is a season unlike any.
Jeremiah Love a little slow to get up, but if I would have told you at the start of the season, by the time Notre Dame had 5 or 6 games left, they'd have 2 ranked opponents left, and Florida State and USC were on the schedule, would you have guessed maybe those would have been the ranked opponents? There's Navy and Army, who both, by the way, won going away earlier today.
And I think, you know what, I don't mean to assume that they're going to run the table here, and I'm not really suggesting that, because Navy and Army are not going to be easy outs. That's for sure. And if anything that this season has taught us is do not assume anything in college football.
Another handoff, this one to another true freshman, Aeneas Williams. Let's go down to Chris.
You know, one of the fun things about this season is what conference championship weekend will be like. A little bit like champ week in basketball, as some teams can steal some bids in other conferences. So if you're a Notre Dame fan, who are you keeping your eye on? Whether who plays in the Big 12 championship, the ACC championship, that if one of the lower ranked teams ends up winning those games, does the Big 12, does the ACC get 2 teams in?
And would there be a possible bid stealer if there's an upset in one of those championship games? It's certainly possible. Darian Price behind the line. He loses about 4. Jay Seymour was there first. And Notre Dame could end up being arguably the most fascinating conversation in the room. If things break a certain way, and let's say they end up having their resume of 1 loss being compared to, say, an SEC 2-loss team or something, and whether or not those teams get matched up against certain teams, whether or not one of those teams is in and one of those teams is out, depending on how things break. his way down to about the 26-yard line with under 5 minutes to go.
Sitting here watching Marcus Freeman communicate with his coaches on the sideline whether or not he was going to go for the field goal.
Looks like they will let Zach Yoakum have another shot. He made from 42. And now he will get a try from 1 yard further out for a new career long. Another fake. Running the sideline and coming up short.
Yeah. Don't tell me that Marcus Freeman isn't aware of the conversations and what the conversations are like that we're having right here in the booth right now.
He got there. I thought he stepped on the sideline, but the officials say first down. They got what they needed. Wow.
You do not do this unless you were aware of the fact that
it's amazing.
He just barely, yeah, he got over it.
Chris Salerno, the holder, got to the sideline, and for the second time in the second half, this time up 3 scores with 4.5 minutes to go. Notre Dame fakes a field goal and gets the first down.
Timeout,
and now a
Georgia Tech.
timeout called by Georgia Tech on defense.
That's their first time out of the half.
We talked about it yesterday and in all of our meetings with the coaches. Certainly you spend all of your time breaking down the offenses and defenses, but we knew special teams could factor into the outcome of today's game, and it certainly has.
Yeah, it sure has. And you see it here on your screen. First down on a fake punt, first down on a fake field goal. I think, look, obviously this game is a little bit different simply because you know what Notre Dame is trying to do, and you know why they're trying to do this. I mean, it's obvious. It's part of the broader discussion that we're having. And you know that Brent Key, absolutely, he tells us he doesn't sleep very much already. You think he's not going to be up at night? Regardless of the factors that contributed to Notre Dame doing this, the fact that he has not been able to stop it or slow it down and his team's been exploited in this way is just not going to sit well with him. But it's a part of the game. Obviously, Marcus Freeman is using it to his advantage to try and, again, continue to keep his team scoring points and putting up impressive wins this year. And he's willing to pull out all the stops to do that. As he should.
You can only play the cards you're dealt.
That's right.
And at the start of the season,
Georgia Tech was charged their first timeout. Georgia Tech charged their first timeout.
at the start of the season, I'm sure Notre Dame looked at their schedule and said to themselves, well, Florida State's the number 10 team in the country.
Right.
That'll be a big game for us at the end of the year.
That's
USC,
right.
That's a ranked team. That'll be a big game for us at the end of the year. But obviously, Florida State's season has completely collapsed. And even a USC team at 500, they're both unranked. So I guess he sees the table as it has been set for him. And they're faking kicks here in the second half. Riley Leonard underthrown towards the end zone.
And taking shots at the end zone, throwing the football. So look, I mean, some people may not like it. Some Notre Dame fans may disagree with our logic here, but it's playing out right in front of our eyes. I mean, it's not that hard to figure out what's taking place here. And again, use everything at your disposal. Control what you can control. That's something that Marcus talks about, and now that's what he's doing. I can control how we look and how we play and what our resume looks like and what the eye test looks like when people watch us play. They're pulling out all the stops.
Georgia Tech selling out to stop the run. They are all over Jeremiah Love for a 3-yard loss. Well, they were a heavy favorite to make the playoff after beating Texas A&M on the road to start the season, but that Northern Illinois loss, that throws a lot of doubt on their resume. At least according to our All-State playoff predictor, they have slowly crept back up above the Mendoza line, and with a win today, they would get to 63%. Again, agree or disagree with our metrics. That's where our metrics would have them. And our metrics, by the way, say that if they run the table, and they're a one-loss team, they would be 99% to make the playoff. As Riley Leonard with flags down here, will stop the play.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 50, offense, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
And I guess, Louis, that's a fair question as well, and why Notre Dame might be doing what they're doing, to make sure this is never a question that's even asked. But if I ask you this, is there a world in which things could break right in, say, the Big Ten and the SEC, the big conferences that have so many teams ranked all over the top 25, where a one-loss Notre Dame team is the 13th team, that they're just on the outside looking in?
I guess it's possible. I wouldn't believe that would happen.
Yeah.
But I think, again, trying to get inside of Marcus Freeman's head right now, he's trying to control what he can control, which is this. I want to impress the people as much as possible.
That's their second charge timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
And all I can do is try and make sure that I try and dominate football games.
2:52 on the clock. 2:52.
Well, I would imagine this probably will end up being ultimately a field goal attempt here for Notre Dame. We'll see. But let's go back to Lewis's keys to the game and take a look at how they've played out.
Yeah, here you wanted to see this offense, I thought, with Notre Dame throw the football, get 2+ TD passes. They didn't do that, but they still controlled the game totally on the offensive side. Defensively, allow less than 150 yards rushing to Georgia Tech. Well, I think they more than made up for that. Offensively for Georgia Tech, no turnovers. They had one. Make Notre Dame throw to win. They allowed 3 rush TDs, but still, it was the pinpoint passing of Riley Leonard that still allowed Notre Dame to maintain possession of the football. He still controlled the game himself at the quarterback position. So if you're looking at Notre Dame, they played this game exactly the way they needed to play it. Clean, efficient, and aggressive.
46 yards out. This time Yoakum will try it. And he will just push it slightly to the right with 2:47 to go. So the fake punt got them a first down, didn't add points to the total, but certainly bled some more time off the clock. As far as our All-State playoff predictor is concerned, we're looking ahead to LSU Arkansas. Now, what happens to the Bayou Bengals based on the outcome of their game? That will follow ours. You can see how important this matchup is for LSU, as they're all the way down to 10% to be a playoff team should they lose it.
It's critical for LSU. Look, winning right now is all that matters, and how you win. You have got to put on impressive performances.
High throw, and it's intercepted. Hiron airmailed it, and this is going to be a pick 6 for Adon Schuler.
Nice read by Adon Schuler. You're going to see him just come down hard on this shallow cross. He just tries to cut this off and help his corner out, who was trying to trail this in man coverage. Watch him. He's just playing. He's going to try and cut it off. It's an overthrow. He's just in perfect position to go ahead and make the interception and then return it for 6. That's going to help your resume. That's going to help how this game ultimately is viewed. This defense has been lights out, Rob. I mean, it's just been lights out. It's been impressive. At all 3 levels, they have got playmakers. And if the quarterback can continue to ascend as far as a passer is concerned like he has, there's going to be a team to contend with. There you're going to see him sitting in perfect position. With Don Schuler telling Xavier Watts, hey man, I can get one of these too. I can get some of these picks as well. It's just a bad throw on the part of Zach Pyron. Sometimes that's the way it happens with DBs. You take advantage of the mistakes that quarterbacks make, because at the end of the day, what people look at are your stats. They don't look at how you got them a lot of times, especially when it comes to interceptions. DBs all know that universally. You see them congratulating each other on the sideline. A pick is a pick, and a pick 6, that's where the money's at.
Again, this Notre Dame defense top 11 in the country. Scoring defense, passing defense, total defense, third down defense. This is not really a shocking performance by that group today. They are a very physical front. And even with some of the injuries that they've sustained, they've dominated the line of scrimmage today.
Yeah, they've lost some very good pass rushers, a very good corner, and they just have people stepping in, stepping up, and continuing to make plays.
Singleton out to the 20-yard line. Again, coming up next, LSU and Arkansas. LSU all the way up to number 8, 5-1 this season, 5 consecutive wins since dropping one to number 23 USC. Arkansas, of course, 4-2, and their signature win at home a couple of weeks ago against Tennessee.
That's going to be a good game right there. Arkansas against Tennessee. You could tell they've played some absolutely spirited defense. They were all over the field that night down there in Fayetteville. Big time matchup.
Chad Alexander, 8 yards. And we'll see if Georgia Tech's going to try and keep things as sped up as possible and get another snap off before the 2-minute timeout. And they will. Byron gets shoved down again by Drake Bowen, but picks up a first down. And that will take us to the 2-minute timeout.
2-minute timeout.
31 unanswered points for the Fighting
Please
Irish.
for 2 minutes.
The Wells Fargo Active Cash Credit Card. Be a 2%er. Earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases. Terms apply.
Bob Wischusen, Lewis Riddick, Chris Budden. The final 2 minutes of this 31-7 lopsided win for Notre Dame, as they have scored the last 31 after the first touchdown of the game was scored by Tech. And now Georgia Tech.
False start.
Call it for
Number
5.
72. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Well, at least it's good to see Weston Franklin back in the game. Remember, he left not long ago, doubled over in pain with an injury. And we are hoping to hear from Marcus Freeman as soon as this game goes final. And Pyron. He went down hard.
And he got twisted up there at the end.
Drake Bowen there again, as was Bryce Young.
This defense has been playing like that all day, Bob. And we've seen it. I mean, it's just as plain as day. They're playing with intentionality, dude. They are trying to really impose their will.
There's the pocket collapsing again. Another sack. Riley Mills all over Zach Pyron.
Timeout, Georgia Tech. That's the third and final timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Well, coming up tonight on ABC at 7:30 Eastern, it's number 1 against number 5 Georgia and Texas. Here's a note I found hard to believe. This is the first time that Georgia is ever going to play on the road at a number 1 ranked team. Right? All these years in the SEC, and the stars have never aligned where any of the other teams that would have been ranked number 1,
right,
that Georgia would have played them as a road game. But now Texas joins the SEC. They're number 1 in the AP poll. And that's our Saturday night football game presented by Capital One, coming up on ABC at 7:30 Eastern. 2 top 5 teams in the SEC will clash, the Dogs and the Horns.
That atmosphere is going to be ridiculous down there. Just absolutely bonkers. What a great challenge for Kirby Smart. Nick Saban sitting up top there, you know, just watching this game going, those are my guys. Kirby, Sark, I've got them all over the place. That's really cool.
Pyron, long throw on 3rd down. And a timing throw to the outside to Bailey Stockton. And it'll be 4th down and 8. And you know what coaches think, right? Saban will probably feel a lot worse for the one that loses that game than he will feel good for the one that wins that game.
No question. That's what drives him. That's what drives all those upper echelon coaches. The pain of losing more so than the joy of winning. That's what makes him great. That's what makes him the GOAT, because that's what he is. He's the greatest of all time in college football.
Flag down, 4th down. The catch made by Stockton stays in bounds. But a flag down back at the line of scrimmage.
Personal foul, illegal hands to the face. Number 88, defense. A 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
So Armel Mukum is called for hands to the face. So all in all, it's a 37-yard gain for Georgia Tech.
You can see Marcus Freeman just patrolling the sideline, man. Look, he knows every play, every point, every snap counts. He wants his team playing to its utmost. No stupid mistakes, no penalties, nothing given. Make them earn everything all the way up to the time this clock says 0. And he's going to coach this team as such until this game is over.
And he looks to be sending again another blitz look. And here they come again. It's a 5-man rush. Byron to the 10-yard line. Singleton makes the catch. That's a gain of 18. Let's see where they mark it. I think it's 1st and goal unless they mark him down at the 11-yard line. It looks like they will. So it will be 1st and 10 from the 11. Byron chased. A little ball fake. Can't get all the way to the sideline to stop the clock. And boy, he is going to feel this tomorrow. He is hurt now.
Drake Bowen has been absolutely hunting on this field all game long. Number 34 has made his presence known in this football game. You just hope that Zach Byron can come out of this game healthy, because number 34 right there on your screen, he came into this game with a bad attitude.
Byron, of course, playing for the injured Haynes King. And he is gutting it out. Here comes another blitz. He is hit again, but delivers a strike for a touchdown to Chase Lane. Boy, Zach Byron has stood in there and taken everything that Notre Dame has thrown at him in a game that was decided a while ago. Lewis, that's some guts from the quarterback right there.
This is a 7-man pressure. This is 0 blitz. And you see he has 2 free runners coming in on him. And just absolutely just gets shellacked by Logan Thomas on his blind side. You see it right there, number 10. Hits him on that left shoulder. And he has stood in there.
And he's trying to walk it off. And as he was heading to the sideline, they sent him back out there to go for 2.
You will never question this young man's toughness, as we know, based upon his history and how he tried to gut it out through a broken collarbone at one point in his career 2 years ago. For the sake of the team, he is not going to give up now. He isn't going to quit now. You have to drag him off the field.
Looking for a 2-point play. Gets hit again. This one's incomplete. With 23 seconds to go, so it's 31-13 Notre Dame. Again, the Irish defense, #1 in America in pressure rate. They pressure on 47% of opponent dropbacks.
Like Al Golden.
And I think they raised that percentage today. Certainly ask Zach Byron. I bet he feels like they did.
Yeah, between Al Golden and Marcus Freeman there on your screen, they know that they have the corners in the back end in particular. They have the athletes in the back end, Bob, that can play man-to-man coverage.
Even without Benjamin Morrison.
Even without him. I mean, the 2 young guys, look, Christian Gray and Leonard Moore, they showed you today just how good they are. I mean, it's baptism by fire for them, and they are handling it in this front.
Number 0 for Notre Dame is now number 6.
See Zach Byron there on the sideline. He has taken some wicked hits in this game.
Hayden Burr has the ball teed up as if he may try an onside kick here. Certainly that's his stance. Notre Dame has a hands team on the field. There is the onside kick. It takes a hop. There's a flag down thrown right at the kicking line of scrimmage. So you have to think that Georgia Tech was probably offside. but it was handled anyway by
Offside.
Notre Dame.
Kicking team, number 28. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the kick. First down, Notre Dame.
And Mitchell Evans was able to hold on to the onside kick, so the big tight end secured it. 22 seconds to go. Does Notre Dame take a knee or take a shot?
You know what? I think that's a bet. I mean, typically you would laugh at that, but I mean, in this situation, they're taking a knee now, obviously, but they have been ultra aggressive, and they have been physical, and they know they're playing for some big stakes down the road.
I would say if anyone ultimately from the selection committee was watching Notre Dame play today, they probably saw what they needed to see. They are an impressive physical football team.
No doubt. They can play defense with the best of them. And you know Brent Key right there talking to Marcus, you know he's telling them that. He's telling them these guys are old school football players that have played at that very high level. Brent Key, a great offensive lineman at Georgia Tech. Marcus, linebacker at Ohio State. They know what's up. It's a lot of respect right there.
So again, our final, Notre Dame over Georgia Tech 31-13. Next up for the Irish, an always difficult Navy team to handle. That's next week at MetLife Stadium. Navy a ranked team. So that's the next hurdle. For Louis Riddick and Chris Button, I'm Bob Wischusen. Thanks so much for watching.